Okay, so second time I'm trying to do this. So I'm here today to talk about things that I feel like I wish I knew or had asked before having a breast reduction. So my phone just froze. So there are 3 types of incisions, and I cannot remember all the details. And I, oddly enough, can't find them. Oh, here we go. I found them. So they're called the anchor, the lollipop, or the donut. So the one that I had was the anchor. And basically, the donut one is literally where they just cut around your areola and like remove whatever they're gonna remove and then do that. The lollipop is where they cut around and then down, and then the anchor, which is the one I had, they cut around, down, and under. And the one I had is the most, how do you say, impactful. Basically, because the sheer amount that I was getting removed, I had a total of 14 pounds removed. And when they do the surgery, they actually remove the nipple completely, in some cases with the anchor, and it actually gets stitched and stapled back on later for the skin to graft back together. In that case, you lose all feeling, and while I say you lose all feeling, it's kind of like they're numb. I don't really notice them when they're there, but any kind of like touch to them, I feel like when your leg's asleep, and someone touches it, or you touch it, or you try to walk, just that painful feeling that you get. It's almost like a nerve pain. I experienced that, and that kind of sucks. And I feel like because of the sheer amount that they removed, they had to completely create new like areolas and everything. They basically like took what I had and made it smaller because it was much bigger. And honestly, they seem darker than they used to be, like a lot darker. And I've noticed a lot of problems with like clothing where you can obviously see them. And I seem to have a lot of scarring. I don't know if it's me or if it's who I had do the surgery, like how it was done. I have a lot of scarring, and it's raised scarring. So you can clearly see the outline under clothing, and it's not what I expected after talking to other people that had a reduction. I feel like maybe mine is worse than others. Honestly, I kind of wish I told them to just fucking keep them, because they're more of a hassle than anything. Like, I would rather not have to worry about them showing through clothing. I feel like they were put in not the best place. Being a bigger girl. I found that I definitely noticed my stomach way more than I did when I had big boobs. Because before, like, I couldn't really see it, and I don't know, I guess maybe they balanced me out. Maybe. But, I have a lot of scarring, and I don't regret getting it done, but I almost wonder if all the scarring, when I was told that there'd be scarring, other people don't have scarring quite as bad as mine. And once again, I don't know if that's because of me and how my body is. But it has been 3 years, and they're nowhere near fading. They're not getting any better. In some places, they're very dark. And I also had a second procedure done at the time. The way they made it sound was pretty much if you had any side boob, that insurance did not cover that, and you had to pay for that separately, and that was kind of another situation. And I don't have. Oh, this will work. So they made it seem like anything like here. So like I had a lot of side boob, and they made it sound like they were basically gonna leave like this big second boob, like give me 4 boobs. And so it pressured me into a second procedure, and I may not have needed it after all, because that's the one thing that I kind of regret doing. I mean, I liked the results in the end, but that was the part I had the most problem. They actually cut me as far as they could back, and then under, and then again over here, all the way back to over here. And that cost me like almost $1,000. Ow, don't claw me. That cost me almost $1,000 for that part of the procedure. And I actually have a spot where I had stitches pop over here. And actually, I don't know if I can really show you. This might not be the best shirt to try. But I can feel them, and I feel like, I don't know. That was the worst part, was the side boob, and I don't think I would have ended up with 4 boobs. I think it would have worked out. Yeah, it did make like my profile back here. I had a little bit of a roll going on back there, and it took that away. Um, but I couldn't use my arms. I was on bed rest. I wasn't really allowed to do anything. I wasn't allowed to lift anything. I wasn't allowed to do anything. And at the time, trauma had happened, and we had sent our bed off to the place where we'd purchased it for repair, and things went south with them, and we ended up with no bed. So here I am on bed rest and no bed. So I slept on the couch on the chase. And the only bad thing about that was I had a horrible time trying to get up and down. Which probably wouldn't have been any better in a real bed, honestly. I had this really tight surgical bra on, and I had no clue what that was going to be like when I got myself into this. And I knew that there would be a surgical bra, but I never expected it to be like it was. And I guess I should have asked more questions. Maybe looked for one of my own elsewhere, because the hospital provided the one I had. And honestly, I feel like it was way too small for me. It got to one point where it was squeezing me so bad that it was cutting into my skin. And we were trying to shove gauze under it to basically add a layer of protection between me and the bra, because I couldn't take it off. I had to wear this thing for a week. I wasn't allowed to take it off. I wasn't allowed to get it wet. I wasn't allowed to do anything. And it was just cutting into me, like on the shoulders, underneath at the bottom, at the back. Like, it was just squeezing me so much. And thinking about it, I think it was probably 3 or 4 sizes too small for me. I don't know how they shoved me in this thing while I was asleep, but they got it on me. And I was miserable in this thing. And we ended up having to call the doctor because, like, it was cutting me so bad that it just hurt so much. I couldn't get comfortable. I couldn't lay still. I couldn't sit still. And their suggestion was to just cut through the bra. Like, here's the band, and to cut a slit here and a slit here to relieve some of the pressure. And honestly, it helped a little, but not as much as I really could have used. Things that I miss: being able to carry things, like my wallet, my shirt, like money, stuff my phone in there. I miss being able to do all of that. Clothes don't fit the same, and I kind of expected that, but at the same time, I didn't expect it. Like, I remember when the bra first came off and I saw myself for the first time. My boobs were like square shaped. Like, they didn't look right at all, and I was worried they were going to stay that way. And once the bra was off, they did within a couple weeks go to a normal shape. But I was scared to death that that's what they were going to look like. And, like I said, that they completely removed the nipple. And the problem that I have the most is they put them up really high, like they're right here. And I feel like that is too high. Like I have no cleavage anymore. That's completely gone. So any low cut shirt looks absolutely stupid on me. And things just don't fit right a lot of the times. And these are so high that I have to be careful, like when I'm fixing my shirts, that I don't, have a slip and accidentally show you my nipple. There's no space underneath here. So I can't, or haven't been able to find a bra that will stay on. They all roll and collect up here. And just when they roll like that, they get really tight and they hurt a lot. So since the reduction, I have not worn a bra for 3 years. I have one that it passes for a bra, but it's not a bra. A bra gives you support. And this is literally a piece of fabric with 2 bands, one at the top, one at the bottom of elastic that go around you. It's basically like a tube top. And it's good for wearing under things that might be too see-through. But honestly, that's the closest thing to a bra. Like, I haven't even found a sports bra that will stay put. They all just slip off. And I don't know. I would say my confidence took a huge hit after the reduction. It's hard to explain. Like, it was something that I wanted for so long. Like, starting at 12, I wanted a reduction. And then I get it. And then it leaves such scarring. Like, I've seen some people where, you can't even tell that they even had surgery. And I have, scars this wide across my body. I look like someone cut me in half and put me back together. And I don't know, is it because I scar easy? Was the surgeon not a good fit? I don't know. I don't regret doing it, but I do wish that I knew that these things were things that could happen. And maybe I could have requested them to keep the nipple. Or maybe better placement, better shaping. I don't know. I don't understand how you could have a reduction and feel like they're kind of lopsided. Like, the doctor's supposed to take care of those things. And I fought so hard to get the reduction, and than how it turned out. And yeah, I can move around more. My back doesn't hurt like it used to. I still have some back pain, but it's not as intense. I feel like I'm just rambling at this point, but think things through. Ask questions. I watched a lot of people on YouTube that were getting reductions and like their journey before I did it. So I knew a lot of stuff going in. Like, I kind of knew that there would be probably no feeling in my nipples. I knew that I was going to have to be in the surgery bra for a week. I didn't know that it was going to be so painful. The drains, I feel like, was the worst part, and I couldn't do it. The husband had to do it. Well, he was the boyfriend then, but I basically had tubes coming out of me, with little squeezy bulbs at the ends that would collect the fluid out of my chest, and it had to be dumped every few hours. And a feeling when those were being drained, like, I could feel the fluid pulling out of me. And that is like the worst feeling I think I've ever had. Here's your fuzzy. Here's your fuzzy. The drains were the worst. Getting my stitches removed was the worst. Like, I had surgery on a Monday and I had a follow-up appointment on Friday, and I don't like pain medication, so I wasn't taking it as often as I should have been, or as prescribed. And so I had gotten to the point where I was only taking it once I got to where I was hurting really bad. And so I didn't take any and went to the doctor's. And I did not know, but we were getting my staples removed that day. And that's going all the way back here, up, and around. To like 300 staples. I had no clue that I was getting those taken out. Sorry, cat put my leg to sleep. I had no clue those were coming out. I thought this was just a let's look and probably get the staples out the next week. I felt like that was super quick. Maybe that counts for the scarring and why the scarring is so bad, because the staples were removed. I almost passed out a few times. We kept having to take a few breaks because I was in so much pain. And we basically did it in short bursts. So it took several hours to get all of these staples removed. And I saw what it was called recently, and I didn't know it was a thing, but I get where I get lightheaded, dizzy and nauseous and like numb and cold all at the same time. And I guess it's like your blood pressure drops or something. And it's what causes it. And so they kept having to stop because I would get to the point I was shaking, and we would have to take a break. Luckily there was a cafe in the building. So the old man went and got me a strawberry smoothie, and I kind of tried to use that to even myself out. I'm not sure why, but drinking it made me feel better here and there. So after the staples were removed, they wanted to put me back in the bra. And as I started to say, I think that might be why my scarring is as bad as it is, because I should have been in that bra for another week. But no matter how hard we tried, we could not get it on. And it makes me think, what the hell they had to do while I was out to get me in that thing in the first place. I don't know. I just picture them like pushing and pulling and squeezing me into this thing. And maybe not having that hold my skin together is why my scars are the way they are. I don't know. I'll never know. There's just a lot of things that I wish I knew. I wish I knew that it would have ended like this. I mean, I went to the same surgeon that someone else I knew did and had a good experience. They apparently had missed a stitch that day when they removed the staples. And I had a spot, and it turned into a sore. I had no clue what was wrong. I just knew that part of the incision wasn't healing like the rest of it was, and it was turning into this dime-sized hole that was just getting infected, and we were having to clean it over and over and over again and bandage it. And I have a reaction to tape, so I couldn't even use medical tape to hold anything on. So we basically had to use an ace bandage to hold anything on. So I called the surgeon. I was like, look, I don't know what's going on, but I have a spot that won't heal, and it's getting infected, and we've tried everything and we can't get it to heal. So I go and I'm standing there, and they walk in the room, didn't even have me sit down, like no warning, no nothing, said, oh, it's just a stitch, and puts these tweezers right into the hole and just yanks this thing out. And I almost just fell to the floor right then and there. Like, the numbness, the nausea, the feeling I was going to pass out just all hit me at once. And I don't like the way I was treated. I waited for hours in their lobby well after my appointment time. For them to wait until I was the last person left. For them to do that to me. And then I was by myself. I didn't have anyone to drive me home. So they were like, okay, go ahead and sit down. Take a minute, because I told them I was going to pass out. And not even like 2 minutes later, they're like, hey, you've got to go. Like, we're closing. Get your closing, but you just didn't even have me sit down before you yank something out of me. Already knowing how I react when we took the staples out and the stitches out the first time. Knowing that I react that way. Like, I get sick. And then one person telling me to take as much time as I need to be able to, go. And then the next thing, I get someone else coming in the room and rushing me out. Like, so I went out and sat in the car until I could finally feel normal enough to drive. I don't know what causes me to do that, but I react to pain that way. I just always have. I don't know. Verify with your doctor if you're taking a leave of absence from work, how long they're gonna fill out the paperwork for. Because mine tried to send me back to work on the second week. And there's no way I could have gone to work. I wasn't even allowed to drive yet. So how I'm supposed to go to work, I don't know. I couldn't use my arm still. I couldn't use the bathroom by myself because I couldn't reach down. I couldn't push or pull or do anything that moved that incision. Like, I had to be very, very careful. Like, even riding in the car was agony. And they didn't want me to use my arms, but they were going to send me to work. How does that make any damn sense? I don't know. And I had to push back, and I'm like, look, you told me that this was a 6-month healing. 6 weeks. That it would take 6 weeks before I would be ready to be able to do things normally again. I type all day. I'm on a computer. I'm like this all day long, typing. And that would have not been very comfortable.